has a big event coming up not this weekend, but very soon, and we're going to talk about this. The Armstrong, Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission has its hands full lately, Carrie, as you well know.
Yes, we do.
And with the crisis going on with not only opioids, but within the entire community and substance abuses of all kinds, your services are needed more than ever.
Yes, our services, we are busy. Our case managers are busy, our recovery support, our prevention department. We're all just trying to come at the opioid crisis at all fronts. And, we're doing a lot in the communities with our Drug-Free Communities Coalition, with our Overdose Task Force. We have a new program at the hospital, a warm handoff program, trying to get people into treatment quicker and closing gaps. We're starting up October 1st, a new on-call system. So if somebody is, a victim of an overdose, they can call us through the crisis hotline and speak to somebody that is a certified recovery specialist, either on the phone or they can come out to the scene. They can meet with family. They can help guide them through the process to get them into treatment.
So that starts October 1st. You have a program coming up on October 4th then at the Kovalchick Complex.
We do. So October 4th, we have a program called Had I Only Known. We have 2 sessions. We have a morning session that's geared towards professionals, employers, employees, human service agencies. We're going to be having speakers from Drug-Free Workplace PA come in. The Department of Health is going to come and talk about medical marijuana. We will have our Indiana County District Attorney coming and talking about drug trends and just what to look for, especially in the workplace. And then also we will have somebody from our agency speaking on the recovery support services and how to get help when needed.
Mm-hmm. That's the morning session.
That's the morning session.
Then what happens?
And then we do have lunch. We are providing lunch. And then we go into an evening session. And we're going to talk about, we have a program that we do. We used to call it Teen Scene. Now we're calling it Had I Only Known. It's geared towards adults. So it's what parents and grandparents, anyone that has involvement with children, what they need to be looking out for. So whether it's things that could be in their bedroom, everyday items, clothing that they wear, slang terms for drugs that might just depict that they might be part of the drug culture, or they might be, hanging out with friends that are thinking or using, so the parents know. It's mainly so they're in the know and educating them on all of this and the drug trends and what's going on. So
help me with the timing. The morning session leads to the lunch.
Yes.
And then what happens in the afternoon?
Okay, so in the afternoon there's a break. We come back from 4 to 5. We're going to have vendor tables. We'll also have the vendor tables in the morning too. So there's several vendors throughout Indiana County that'll be there. The Open Door, Adagio Health, Gaudenzia, Pyramid Healthcare, Celebrate Recovery, Pennsylvania Linked to Aging and Disability, Med Staffers. There's going to be a whole host of agencies there that have tables set up so that we can get resources out to the community. And then from there, we'll go into the speakers. So in the evening, the speakers start from 5 to 8.
Okay. So in the morning, you're talking about businesses and professional folks.
Yeah.
And people need to sign up for that ahead of time?
Yes, they do need to sign up. There is a Survey Monkey link, which to give over the radio would be difficult. So the best thing to do would just to be call the Armstrong, Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission. And our number is 724-354-2746, and anybody could help get you registered.
Okay, but you do need to do that ahead of time.
Yes, because we do need a count for refreshments and lunch and things like that.
Okay, so that's one part. Is there a cost associated with that?
No cost. It's coming free for everybody, so we're just really trying to educate employers about drug and alcohol and drug-free workplace and getting policies set and what to do if you suspect somebody that's working for you is using and how to get them help. A lot of times, too, just people have loved ones that are suffering from addiction, and they might need some guidance as well.
Yeah. I would guess when you have employers and business folks who are gathering and are dealing with this issue, like every aspect of society must, that there's a balance that must be struck between protecting your company and then helping the person who is involved in drug activity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're protecting your company, and depending on what your company is, you don't want anybody to get hurt if somebody's using, whether it be that person or them hurting somebody else. But we also need to get people into treatment and get them the help that they need. So, I know a lot of companies are struggling with just even being able to find people that can pass the drug test to fill positions. So that's a problem as well. And now with the new medical marijuana coming, we want employers to know the laws around that and how that might change some things.
Yeah, I'm sure the legal issues surrounding that. And one of the things about that is small companies don't usually have personnel who are dedicated to making sure that they're in compliance with this regulation or that rule. And so they need something like this to get that background.
Yes, definitely. And Drug Free Workplace PA can walk them through that process. I know that they have all kinds of resources online as well that employers can take advantage of, so they can get them started in that process and coach them along the way.
So the evening session then is targeting whom?
The community.
Okay.
So it's for the community. We will have, signs and symptoms and trends of drug use. We will also have the Department of Health there talking about medical marijuana, because the community needs to know about that as well. There's a lot of misconceptions about medical marijuana, and we want the community to be informed and in the know. We will also have the district attorney there as well, and also recovery support and how to get into treatment.
And must people sign up for that ahead of time?
Yes, we would like people to register, but if for some reason you can't and you show up, we're not going to turn you away.
Okay. All right. And again, the number for folks to call to register for this event, whether it's the morning or the evening session,
would be 724-354-2746.
When you deal with people who come in to your agency, the Armstrong, Indiana Clarion Drug and Alcohol Commission, are they generally educated in the resources that are out there for them, or are most folks who come in to use your services, whether they are addicted themselves or they're family members of someone who is addicted, do they generally have an idea of what's available for them, or do they need to know things that generally are there but they just don't know they're available?
Usually they don't know, and we have case managers and certified recovery specialists in all three of our counties that can guide them through that process. So, they'll do a level of care assessment, determine what treatment is needed, help them get into a treatment facility, guide them through that process, when they're done with treatment. As they step down through their treatments, they're with them. They do a whole plan with somebody that goes from helping them to get employment, helping them with child care, things like that. So there's a lot of resources out there that they can connect them with.
Still, rational or not, I'm sure that there are people who say to themselves, if I do seek help from somebody who is there for that purpose, they're going to turn me in. I'm going to be in trouble. The people around me are going to be in trouble. Address that. How do you handle the legality of people who are dealing or doing illegal drugs?
Well, when people come to us for treatment, they're kind of maybe already past that stage of have already dealt with law enforcement. Drug and alcohol confidentiality is very strong. We cannot share anything with anybody unless a waiver is signed by that person saying that we're allowed. So confidentiality, safety of people that seek out our services is our number one goal.
Yeah, and people who come to you know that they've got a real problem anyway. Yes,
yeah.
They've reached that stage of their life when they know, and especially if the children are involved, they they know that they really need to get a handle on this and get it done quickly.
Yes, and some people just have questions, and there's still a lot of stigma involved with drug and alcohol, so we're trying to move past that stigma so people can get the help they need and so we can stop losing lives in our county.
Yeah. You mentioned a program that you're involved with IRMC, the Warm Handoff program. What is that?
Okay, so the Warm Handoff program, if somebody comes into the hospital or the emergency department and they have drug and alcohol, they could come in on an overdose situation or they could come in with another injury, but they divulge, drug and alcohol or that is found. They can then meet with a case manager. We have a case manager right at the hospital, and we also have a certified recovery specialist. So then once they receive the treatment that they need at the hospital, then they could go straight into drug and alcohol treatment from the hospital. Yeah. So we're trying to close those gaps so people aren't going back home and, being able to change their mind about getting into drug and alcohol. We want to, get that right away and close those gaps.
And their participation in that would be completely voluntary, I would assume?
Yes, it is voluntary and it is confidential.
Okay. All right. So that's the Warm Handoff program. And then we've got just a moment left with Carrie Bence. The program that will begin on October 1st. Review that with me again.
Okay, so the October 1st program that we're going to be rolling out in Indiana County, we're working a lot with our EMS, so Citizens Ambulance. We know that when a call comes in for an overdose, that naloxone or Narcan, the drug that reverses an overdose, may have already been used by a family member or a friend. So the person may not want to get onto the ambulance. And we know that is causing some issues in our county. So we've set up a program working alongside EMS, and they've been wonderful to work with through our overdose task force, that they can give information to that person, and they can then reach out for our services. So if somebody doesn't want to get on the ambulance, they can say, here, you know what? We know somebody in recovery, and you can talk to them, and they can guide you through what the process is going to be. They can even come out to your house or wherever the overdose has occurred and meet with you and guide you through that process as well. Sometimes that might not happen to the next day because we know that on a scene of an overdose, things could be chaotic. So the next day they can follow up. And a lot of times it might not even be for the person that is experiencing an overdose. It might be for their family, because a lot of times on scene, EMS is left with the family there asking all kinds of questions. Sure. Yeah. So that's where we come into play to help with that situation. She's
Carrie Bence. She's given us a lot of good information here today. We probably need to develop some of this more with her. Maybe we'll do that in the near future. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
It is Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank. It's WCCS AM 1160 and FM 101.1.